Autotune was invented in 1996, and as we all know, all songs prior to that were out of tune. But don't worry, today we're fixing that with an app called Moises, which can separate the vocal stems from any stereo audio recording using AI. This tech has existed for a while. It is great for memes, but today we're using it to fix vocal performances from the past that may have been, well, shall we say, out of tune. First up on the agenda is Led Zeppelin, Whole Lotta Love. This video is brought to you by CuriosityStream and my streaming service Nebula, where you can watch a bonus video as well as the original cut of this video, which was blocked by major music labels. Thanks guys, really protecting the musicians out there. Okay, so let's load up Melodyne. While that's transferring, let's talk about the melody of Whole Lotta Love. It's a blues melody, so Robert Plant might be singing notes which don't necessarily fit on the keyboard. There might be bends and melismas, blue notes, but don't worry, we can change all that. We can make those blue notes sound more, I guess, black and white. So we're in the key of E here, like an E blues, and Robert Plant starts out the melody with like a B, which is the 5 in the key. He's like sliding around a lot to that sharp 4, that flat 5, the tritone, the blue note. He's also hitting this note that's in between G and G sharp, which is something that we might call the neutral third. You hear it a lot in blues melodies, and like guitarists will bend up to it, but it doesn't really exist in the continuum of Melodyne. Then he's hitting the root here, or the E, but he's pretty sharp when he's hitting it. Definitely easily fix that using Melodyne's pitch correction. Shift it down, boom, perfect. Let's go ahead and select the whole melody, and let's correct all of it. Let's just correct the whole thing.
You need cool air, baby, I'm not fooling. You need cool air, baby, I'm not fooling.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the Melodyne version, Robert Plant is definitely hitting those notes like, I guess, more precisely. But since it's a blues melody, which sometimes uses notes which aren't on the keyboard, there's something that's like fundamentally changed about how the melody works when you pitch correct it.
I'm gonna send yeah, back to school. I'm gonna send yeah, back to school.
Like Melodyne and blues definitely don't go well together. You're not hearing that neutral third in the Melodyne version. Something definitely gets lost in translation.
Way down inside, honey, you need it. Way down inside, honey, you need it.
What if we did like, you know, the T-Pain effect? What if we like made it all robotic and stuff?
You need cool air, baby, I'm not fooling. I'm gonna send yeah, back to school.
There we go, that's the sound. All right, let's add some harmony to that bad boy.
You need cool air, baby, I'm not fooling.
Truly cursed stuff, but not as cursed as this next one. The next artist that we're gonna ruin is Frank Sinatra.
Let me play up there with those stars.
So this melody is a lot more diatonic. It fits better with the notes on the piano. We're not gonna be dealing with as many blue notes. But Frank Sinatra has a very conversational style, and Melodyne and pitch correction don't always work that well with that old school style. We're in the key of C major. It starts on C, the first note of the key. He sounds dead on there, looks dead on too. He doesn't need the pitch correction like Robert Plant did. Shots fired, Robert Plant. Get on Frank's level. You know, we could improve upon it. Nobody's perfect. Pitch center, aligned, pitch shift, minimal.
Fly me to the moon. Let me play up there with those stars.
It's a little bit of an uncanny valley there. It's like, check this out.
Hold my hand. Hold my hand.
It's wild. Both sound good, but the pitch correction robs it of a certain thing. It's such a subtle difference, but to me, without the Melodyne, sounds like a lot more lifelike. There sounds like there's a lot more body.
Hold my hand. Hold my hand.
It's hard to even say what it is. There's just something there, I think, that's a little bit more vivacious without the pitch correction. There's something more tangible, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, let's do the thing. Let's make Frank Sinatra sound like T-Pain.
Fly me to the moon. Let me play up there with those stars. Let me see what life is like on Jupiter and Mars.
It's kind of killing though. I like that. It's a different instrument, right? Like, it's a different thing altogether. When you start adding all of that extra robot stuff, you stop hearing it as just the human vocal cords. You start hearing it like as an effect being added. That's actually kind of like a big part of this book, Sonic Technologies, Popular Music, Digital Culture, and the Creative Process by Robert Strachan. The book's careful to distinguish between different kinds of autotune and pitch correction. Of course, like there's the T-Pain effect or the Bon Iver effect that we're working with right now. The potential dangerous thing occurs with digital perfectionism, where you're still hearing it as a human voice, even if it's been changed in a pretty profound way, like we've kind of heard with Frank Sinatra.
Hold my hand.
Like we hear it as human. The book paraphrases a vocal teacher who's talking about how young singers that come in to study with them are constantly exposed to conventions mediated by technological manipulations of the voice. Let's see, the name of the voice teacher is...
Hi, I'm Kate Fraser Neely, and I'm Adam Neely's mom.
Hi, Mom.
I've been teaching for almost 45 years now. Things were so different.
Back in my day.
Back in my day. You have to become educated. Almost everything, including in classical music, is auto-tuned now to some degree. What's fascinating is when what you're listening to will shape your throat. There's an entrainment that goes on in the body with what you hear. If a singer was born after 1985, they're going to have more experience listening to digitally enhanced voices than they will live voices.
Actual people in the real
Actual
world
people singing
without a microphone or anything.
Without a microphone, right.
Wow,
And
yeah. So the subtle changes that we're doing here are done in most commercial recordings, and on a fundamental level, they're altering how we sing because these are the only experiences that young singers might have actually singing along with another person. But the other person has been digitally altered to become more and more perfect. That is a real effect on the body that singers like Frank Sinatra and Robert Plant didn't have to do because they weren't listening to people who were digitally perfected when they were learning how to sing.
the way that the main muscle of respiration, the diaphragm, works, it's responsive. It responds to vibration. The sounds that people around you are making will affect how you sing. And when you're in training with another person, your heart rate entrains, very much like what happens with instrumentalists.
Since so many young singers like only ever sing along to recordings, there's this back and forth between the recording, which has been manipulated, and then their own bodies, which has been kind of like adopted to the pitch corrected vocals. There's like a back and forth there. It's a feedback loop. Anyway, let's keep the auto-tune train going. Aretha Franklin, respect. So this one's also like a very bluesy melody. It's a very belty melody too. So a lot of the nuance and the inflection comes from the pitch going up and down in this very continuous way. Another thing that like pitch correction might not be like super great at dealing with. This one's we're in the key of C, blues. She starts with this E flat, the minor third, very common in blues keys to have those two different kinds of thirds, minor and major. In this case though, for this phrase, she's singing this minor third, like kind of flat, very bluesy thing to do to play with the intonation of the third. But we can correct that. We can make that better. Yeah, there we go. That sounds a little weird. What note is that supposed to be? Let's fix that. Versus without the Melodyne. So let's just go ahead and make everything super tight. For some reason, this pitch corrected to a B natural. Let's make that what it's supposed to be, a B flat, because in blues keys, you would typically have the minor seventh. You wouldn't have the major seventh. Much better. This is Respect with Melodyne. That's wild, it's so subtle. Let's see what happens if we T-paint it. Woo! Aretha, I'm so sorry. This feels so blasphemous to be doing this to your wonderful recording, but in the name of science and education, we are doing this. All right, what's next? Oh no. Now we're doing Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here. This melody is a little bit more naturalistic. It's delivered more in a folky sort of style, and the melody is diatonic. It sticks primarily to the white keys of the piano, which normally would work very well for pitch correction software, but because it's delivered so like naturalistically, it might sound a little strange if the pitch is a little bit too pristine. So if we check out like this phrase,
Blue skies from pain.
it has, you know, conversational kind of vibe. You could tune it. It would sound like this.
Blue skies from pain.
It's better, but pitch waffliness is kind of like a big part of the vocal performance, I think.
Your heroes for gold.
Like that line too is pretty out. We could definitely change that and make that better.
Your heroes for gold.
Much tighter, right?
You know, this is interesting. If you were to cut off your head above the vocal cords and pass air through the vocal cords, it would make a sound like bicycle spokes with a card on it. What that tells us is that the actual cellular structure and shape of the throat from above the vocal cords to maybe, let's say, behind the nose is unique to every person. And that's where we get color and timbre. It's what makes a voice expressive. So when we're talking about digital perfection, we're not only talking about pitch perfection, we're talking about a change in timbre. What's the color of the voice?
That line also could be improved. Let's get that all tight up to the grid. There's an uncanny valley thing that happens very quickly when you apply this kind of level of perfectionism. It's like applying Facetune to famous photos. There's something that it just glosses over. Again, I've gone on the record saying that Autotune is an incredibly powerful tool for expression. But this feels less about expression and more about perfection. And perfection is not very expressive. I like the warts. The warts are the fun bits. Next one is Bill Withers' Ain't No Sunshine. I love Bill Withers' voice so much. It's so pure, but there's so much soul, there's so much feeling when he sings. And we're about ready to correct all of that. This is in A minor, and you know, it's a pretty straightforward diatonic melody. You got some B naturals in there, so it's not straight pentatonic. There's sometimes the 2 in there. And then also sometimes you get these notes which are kind of like the third, but like really flat. The thing that we've been seeing this whole time is that singers who are singing naturalistically will play with the tuning of the third. Sometimes the third will be in between the minor third and the major third. Sometimes the third will be really flat. There's a lot of expression that comes with altering the tuning of the third of whatever key that you're playing in. In this case, this kind of looks kind of like a C, the minor third in the key of A minor, but there's a lot of bending there too. We're gonna get rid of all of that. We're just gonna lock it to A minor.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
It's such a weird feeling. I keep using uncanny.
I ought to leave the young thing alone, but ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
This doesn't have the same mojo as like without the pitch correction, which would sound like this.
Hey, I ought to leave the young thing alone, but ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
So much more mojo. All the mojo. Some gets lost, you know. Perfection is not as expressive.
It's not a warm when she's away. It's not a warm when she's away.
Granted, this tech definitely offers us some pretty cool new expressive capabilities, but there's always a trade-off. Like, change is not always good, change is not always bad, change is change. Understanding change is the important thing. With that said, let's go full T-Pain on Bill Withers. Nice little harmonizer.
Wonder this time where she's gone. Wonder if she's gone to stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. And this house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away.
You know, when it doesn't sound like a voice anymore, then it starts sounding cool and I start feeling things again rather than unease. You gotta break through, you gotta go out the uncanny valley to the other edge, you know? There really are like two ways of looking at this tech. It's the tech which lets you express some interesting things with robotic vocals, because the harmony and the feelings and textures that come with that aesthetic, I think, are unique and new and very much of the times, stuff that has a feeling associated with it, and not something that's trying to prove your vocal prowess. So I'm not necessarily against pitch correction because it's like dishonest or anything. I don't really care if you can or can't sing, whatever. I just think that there's something genuinely lost when it's applied indiscriminately. It's just important to understand. And as you saw in this video, like, even the very best singers are not singing perfectly according to the grid, because there's more expressive capabilities that a singer can employ if they're not singing strictly to the grid that pitch correction automatically locks you to. You can use, of course, Melodyne with other tuning systems, and there's a lot of North African music and Arabic music which uses Melodyne and Autotune very expressively in different tuning systems, but you see how utterly terribly this works with blues, because blues is very much about singing in between the cracks as a means of expression. If you want to see me working with some more melodies, I have a bonus video where I go and do this thing a couple more times over on Nebula. Nebula is my streaming service where you can check out a lot of my bonus material, as well as bonus material from many of your favorite online educational creators like Lindsay Ellis, 12 Tone, Legal Eagle, Wendover Productions, Real Engineering, Up and Atom, and many, many more. It's a great place to watch and discover quality content, as well as support your favorite creators and check out whatever bonus material that they might upload to the platform that might not necessarily work that well for YouTube. This video, by the way, definitely will get demonetized through Content ID. There is no way this video is not getting demonetized. I played so much copyrighted music in this video. But that's not a problem because of the sponsor of this video, another fantastic streaming service, CuriosityStream, the go-to place on the internet for the very best documentaries, with thousands of titles to choose from, including Genius Within the Inner Life of Glenn Gould, a very excellent documentary all about the life and the craft of the great idiosyncratic pianist. Very highly recommended. If you don't know Glenn Gould, this documentary is a great introduction. If you're interested in CuriosityStream, you can click the link in the description or go to curiositystream.com/Adam Neely, or click this link right here, and you'll also get a subscription to Nebula for free. What's more is that for a limited time, you'll get both CuriosityStream and Nebula for just $14.79, or a 26% discount. In doing so, you're not only helping this channel, but also helping out all of the creators over at Nebula as we build a platform that aims to engage the world in a more meaningful way.
Peace.